and welcome back to Beyond the Screen, the Family Connection podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Samantha Hayes, educator, parent, and founder of Beyond the Screen Families. Today, we're tackling a big one: how to build a screen time plan your kids will actually follow. Because you might have tried to create a plan and then it went all haywire and nobody's following it. But I'm going to help you. We're going to devise one. I'm going to give you some simple rules so that you can create one that will actually get followed. If you've ever created a rule about screens only to have it ignored, debated, or sneakily broken, you're definitely not alone. We've all been there. And what I've learned in working with kids and working with parents is it's not usually the plan itself. That's not the problem. It's how we build it that is. So, in this episode, I'm going to walk you through a family centered strategy that you can use to reset your screen rules, get buy in from your kids, and ditch those endless battles. And stick around. I'll let you know how to grab our 31-day connection calendar and enter to win a boredom buster bin giveaway now happening for email subscribers. If you want more explicit information on what a boredom buster bin might entail, you should listen to episode 1 where we talk about a boredom buster box, a basket, a cabinet. This is going to be a small bin that we're giving away, chock full of things that might help fight those I'm bored blues. So let's dive in. First, let's start with some real talk, right? Why do so many screen rules flop? It's usually for one of three reasons, or maybe all three. Number one, they're unrealistic. We are doing no screen time ever. It's really hard. I mean, if you can do that, wow. We can't. And we don't want to either, right? We are screen minimal, but we use screens with intention. So, unrealistic screen plans, you might decide there'll be no screens during the week, and by Wednesday, you're desperate for a break. This is particularly true if you have had screens and you're like, you know what? We're going to work towards a more screen minimal life. And you're like, okay, so we're just going to ban screens all week because that works for Samantha and her family. I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Like, work on a staged plan that's realistic for your family. Because most of the time, if you've consistently had screens and then you try to ban them, it's not going to be successful. So, realistic plans, right? Unrealistic plans, number one reason. Number two, our screen plan is too vague. We might say things like only a little screen time every day. Well, what does that mean? A little to me means something very different than it does to my children, than it probably does to my husband. So make sure your screen plans are specific and explicit. Number three, they're parent made and kid imposed. When we create rules without involving our kids, and yes, there is a time and a place for that. I'm just saying maybe this isn't the time or place. Kids naturally are going to want to test our rules. They're going to argue. They're going to find workarounds. And so, if we want a successful screen plan, we need to make sure that we are involving our children in making it. So, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I can't tell you how many times I've said, okay, let's watch a little TV. Now, remember rule number 2. The kids start watching their show, and pretty soon they're like zombies in front of the TV screen. And I'm busy engaged with something else I need to work on. Pretty soon, that little bit of time turns into an hour, and then pulling them off becomes a war. So, to help mitigate this, I've started being super explicit when we're having screen time. And I'm going to share a little my screen plan in my house after this, but I become really explicit. I'll say, you can watch 2 episodes. Or I might say, okay, it's after nap. We still are going to go into the pool. We need to go to the grocery store and you have swim lessons. How many episodes do you think is appropriate to watch knowing that, right? And helping them understand that time management piece, um, and allowing them to help decide. They're never unrealistic. And your kids won't be either. Like when you actually involve them and allow them, you might be surprised how reasonable they are. So the lessons I've learned in my own experiences, be explicit and allow them to have some help and say in building those rules. So that's why today's strategy works because it makes them a part of the process. So here's your game plan. Get out your notepad. Keep this episode on save so you can come back to it or just commit it to your memory. Number one, set the scene. You're going to call a family casual meeting. Now, don't do it when you're trying to rush around. Don't do it when you know you've got 10 minutes and you need to be someplace else, or when you're walking through the grocery store. It doesn't have to be formal. Maybe you're all just sitting around, chilling, doing something, and you're like, hey, let's have a conversation. It could be after dinner. It could be during a snack break while you're lounging in the living room. Again, everybody's just kind of sitting around doing their thing. But the vibe needs to be low pressure and pretty chill because you want to have an open and honest conversation about it. Number two, you're going to share the why. Kids naturally want to know why. How many times have you asked your kids to do something and they're like, why? Why? This is no different. So start out with it. Hey, we're going to talk about screen time. I've noticed we've been having a lot of screen time lately, and I think it's time for us to come up with a plan together so we still have time for fun this summer, this weekend, through the school year, whatever it is, right? But you give them a why you're having this conversation and why you're setting that screen plan for the future. Then we have the magic, and the magic comes in letting them talk. Ask for their ideas and listen. Don't put your ideas out there first. Ask them, what do you like about screen time? What don't you like about it? What feels fair on how much screens we use every day? And after they've given their ideas, that's when you can really start to either offer your ideas and or then help to mold the plan together. But asking for their ideas uninhibited, allowing them really that freedom to express themselves and what they're thinking is powerful in building this plan and helping you to achieve success. Number four is your building of the actual plan. So then you have to agree on when screens are allowed, when screens are off limits, any special exceptions like family movie nights, travel days, long days where everybody just feels exhausted, any special exceptions you might have. And then a consequence or reminder plan if the rules aren't followed. Those four steps can help you build a common, agreed upon, strong, solid plan that you're going to be able to stick through. So just make sure you have them agree on those. So let me give you an example. In our house, we have no screens on weekdays besides our family movie night, which is on Friday. On the weekend, we have morning cartoons and those are allowed until 8:30. After 8:30, we turn the TV off and we go on about our day. Our exception is potentially after nap time, a couple episodes, depending on the day and what we have planned. That's our one exception. So clear guidelines. You see even a couple of episodes. Usually it's two, maybe it's three, couple. Step number 5 is to write it down. Make a poster, write it on a whiteboard, jot it down on a piece of paper and stick it to your fridge. But make it so that everybody's not just storing it in their brain and then there's disagreements about, no, I thought we. Instead, you have it there. Maybe it's a note in the phone that gets shared with everyone. Whatever it is, make it so that everyone can see it. And then revisit it weekly. When you first start your screen plan, you're going to want to revisit it more than as the screen time plan progresses. The more accustomed you get to it, the more you can start pushing back your reflections. And if you're working on going from screens all the time to very limited screens, I suggest you make a plan, you revisit, and you adjust your plan when it seems appropriate. Like when everybody's seeming like they got this, then okay, should we adjust our plan and start the whole process over again? But you want to revisit and ask them, how's it going? What was a struggle this week? What went really well? And find out and use that connection moment as an opportunity to make any adjustments you need to your screen plan. If you've got older kids, teens, tweens, older elementary students, give them control over writing that plan. Allow them to put it together. After you guys have talked about it, allow them to be the one that creates it. It provides them a lot of ownership and they'll want to follow it more. But before we move on, if you haven't yet grabbed our 31-day connection calendar, it's live. It's totally free. It's packed with simple, screen-free activities and connection ideas for those chaotic back to school days. And we're talking 31 days. Each day has one thing, 5-10 minutes, where you can have a connected moment together as a family. You could do it before school. You could do it after school, after dinner. Any of those times, it's one activity that it's like, oh, did that, and then you can cross it off. But it really allows you to reconnect together as a family. Plus, when you download it and join our mailing list, and no worries, if you're already on the mailing list, you are in for this. You'll be automatically entered to win a boredom buster bin. Remember, listen to episode 1 if you're not sure. A normal sized like bin, not a big giant one that I've specially curated with some screen-free activities. You'll have some screen-free, some activity cards in there, and items to really get that curiosity going. Head to beyondthescreenfamilies.com/back to school to grab yours and enter today. Now, no screen time plan is perfect. Life happens. Man, does life happen. There'll be sick days, stressful work deadlines, last minute schedule changes. So, what do you do when the plan gets ignored or things get off track? The number one thing is to name it without shame. We have no shame. We just say, looks like our screen time plan got a little off track this week. Let's see what we can do to reset it tomorrow. Or we got off track today. What do you think we can do tomorrow to get back on track? Involve your kids in the reset. What do you think will help us stick to the plan better this week? Remember, we involve them in the creation, involve them in resetting if it gets off track. And don't forget to leave room for flex days. Maybe you build into your plan one yes day or a movie marathon day, and you build that in intentionally into each month where it loosens the screen limits. It reduces the pushback because kids know there are days when the rules bend. If you ever need to temporarily lift the plan for a reason, just make sure you name it clearly. Today we're having extra screen time because mom's on a work deadline. Tomorrow we're going back to the plan as usual. Just be clear and explicit about what you're doing so that kids can really see what's happening. Kids handle inconsistency so much better when they know it's temporary. They're less likely going to push on that screen plan if you bend it temporarily and you're explicit with it. They're like, okay. And then tomorrow's, we're back on it, right? So let's wrap this up. Today we covered why most screen time rules fail, how to run a family screen time meeting so that you can build a plan that's workable, realistic for your family together, and what to do when life throws that plan off course. Remember, be explicit about what's happening. Your challenge this week is to schedule a 10-minute screen time chat with your family. Notice I said 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be huge. Use the questions and steps from this episode and build a simple plan and let us know how it went. Don't forget to subscribe and like this podcast. And if you aren't already, make sure to follow us on your socials at Beyond the Screen Families. And don't forget, grab your free 31-day connection calendar at beyondthescreenfamilies.com/back to school. Join our email list to be entered to win the Boredom Buster Bin giveaway. It's happening this month only. And by this month, I mean August, and be sure to help bring a little creativity into your kiddos' bored moments. Thanks so much for listening today. Here's to trading a little more screen time for moments that stick. See you later.